Hello friends, we will now see the third chapter of class 9, which is coordinate geometry. Now, before going into coordinate geometry, let us learn certain concepts. Okay, in the Cartesian plane, the horizontal line is called the x-axis and the vertical line is called the y-axis. The coordinate axes divide the plane into four parts called quadrants. The point of intersection of the axes is called the origin. Now, this is the Cartesian plane. I hope you get it. This is the Cartesian plane, and the vertical line is called the y-axis and the horizontal line is called the x-axis. I hope you get it. And this Cartesian plane is divided into four quadrants. This is the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. Now we will mark the subdivisions or the markings on the x-axis and the y-axis. So this is 0 is the O is the origin. Where what is the coordinates of O? 0, 0 is the coordinates of O, and this is the point where the y-axis and the x-axis intersect each other. Now let us mark the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the x-axis and this is the negative x-axis. -1, -2, -3, -4, so on. Similarly, this is the y-axis and this is the positive of the y-axis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is -1, -2, -3, -4, so on. Okay. So this is how this is how a graph looks like. Now let us take any point 3, 3. So this is the point 3 on the x-axis, nothing but this is the point 3 on the x-axis, and this is the point, this is the length y-axis, this is the 3. So 3, 3 is nothing but it is located over here. This distance is the x-axis and this distance is the y-axis. I hope you understood it. Now let us learn certain properties of the coordinates of this coordinate geometry. Axis or the x coordinate of a point is its distance from the y-axis. That is, whenever we denote a point on the Cartesian plane, how is it denoted? It is denoted by x, y. This x is called the axis and y is called the ordinate. So the axis or the x coordinate, this is the x coordinate of a point, is its distance from the y-axis. We now saw, isn't it? This is the distance from the y-axis. Similarly, the ordinate or the y coordinate is its distance from the x-axis. That is this distance. This is the distance from the x-axis. This is the y coordinate. Okay. X, y is called the coordinate of the point whose axis is x and ordinate is y. I hope you understood this. Coordinates of the point on the x-axis are of the form x, o or x, 0. Now let us take a point. Let us take this point on the x-axis. What is the coordinate of it? It is 1, 0. That is, when a point lies on the x-axis, its y coordinate is 0. Similarly, if a point lies on the y-axis, its x coordinate is 0. This is all you have to understand. Okay. The coordinates of a point on the x-axis are of the form x, 0, and that of the point on the y-axis is of the form 0, y. Okay. Now, these are the properties of the Cartesian plane or the graph which you have learned now. Now, let us see certain objective questions or multiple choice questions. Write the correct answer in each of the following. Okay. Point minus 3 comma 5 lies in the. Now where does the point minus 3 comma 5 comes? Minus 3 is here, and where is 5? This is my 5. Okay. So let us read what the answer says. The point minus 3 comma 5 lies in the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant or fourth quadrant. The point lies over here. So what is this? What is this quadrant? It is the second quadrant. See, in the first quadrant, both x and y are positive. In the second quadrant, x is negative and y is positive. In the third quadrant, both x and y are negative. In the fourth quadrant, x is positive and y is negative. Okay. So, this point minus 3 comma y lies in the second quadrant. So, B is the correct answer. Now, signs of the abscissa and ordinate of a point in the second quadrant are respectively. Now only we saw one problem, isn't it? Minus and plus. Signs of the abscissa. Abscissa means the x-axis. Signs of the x coordinate and the y coordinate of a point in the second quadrant. In the second quadrant, the x is negative and y is positive. So, C is the minus and plus. So, C is the correct answer. The point 0 comma minus 7 lies. We already saw that if x is equals to 0 means the point will lie on the y axis. So, point 0 comma minus 7 lies on the x axis, second quadrant, on the y axis or in the fourth quadrant. It lies on the y axis. Okay. Now let us see another objective type question or multiple choice question. The point minus 10 comma 0. In this case my y is 0 and x is minus 10. So this lies in which quadrant, where does this lie? When my y equal to 0, it will lie in the x-axis. It is minus 10. So it will lie in the negative x-axis. Okay. So the point minus 10 comma 0 lies on the negative direction of x-axis, on the negative direction of y-axis, in the third quadrant, in the fourth quadrant. A is the correct answer. Okay. The next question is abscissa of all points on the x-axis. What do you mean by abscissa? The x-coordinate. Any point on the x-coordinate is of the form x comma 0. So x can be anything. So abscissa of all points on the x-axis is 0, 1, 2, any number. It is any number. Okay. All points, abscissa of all points means x can take any value. Okay. It lies on the x-axis. Okay. Now, ordinate of all points on the x-axis. Now, when a point lies on the x-axis, the y-coordinate is 0. So, ordinate means what? The y-coordinate. So, ordinate of all points on the x-axis is 0, 1, minus 1, any number. It is 0. Okay, so A is the correct answer. The point at which two coordinate axes meet is called the abscissa, ordinate, origin, quadrant. Can you tell the answer for this? The point at which both the coordinates meet, this point is called as the origin or the 0 comma 0. So C is the correct answer. Okay, I hope you understood this. Now we'll go to the next next objective type question. A point both of whose coordinates are negative will lie in the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant or fourth quadrant. We earlier saw in our graph sheet that the point where both x and y are negative is the third quadrant. Okay. So a point both of whose coordinates are negative will lie in the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant or fourth quadrant? C is the right answer. Third quadrant is where both the coordinates are negative. The point 1 minus 1, 2 minus 2, 4 minus 5, minus 3 minus 4 lie in the second quadrant, lie in the second quadrant, lie in the third quadrant, or lie in the fourth quadrant, or do not lie in the same quadrant. Okay. Now let us see where all these points lie. Okay. When I say 1 comma minus 1, it lies over here. 1 comma minus 1 is this. 2 comma minus 2. So I'm sorry, 1 comma minus 1 is this, 2 comma minus 2, 2 comma minus 2 is this, 4 comma minus 5. Where is your 4? 4 is here and minus 5 is here. So 4 comma minus 5. Then minus 3 comma minus 4 is here. So they do not lie in the same quadrant. Okay. So these points, they do not lie in the same quadrant. So D is the correct answer. Okay. Now if y coordinate of a point is 0, then this point always lies in the first quadrant, second quadrant, on the x-axis or on the y-axis. So on the x-axis is the right quadrant. When y quadrant is 0, then the point will lie on the x-axis. Okay. So now we will solve a problem, that is, we are asked in which quadrant or on which axis do each of these points lie. So first let us take the first point, that is minus 2 and 4. So in which quadrant or in which axis do each of these points lie? Let us take the first one, minus 2 comma 4.